In the intricate dance of human connection, we often find ourselves yearning to truly understand the people who walk into our lives. Appearances, charm, and initial chemistry can be dazzling, yet they are often just the elaborate costumes of character. But what if you could peek behind the curtain? What if there were undeniable signals that reveal the very essence of a woman's soul? Prepare to uncover 5 profound indicators that unveil the authentic woman, far beyond the curated smiles. Judging a person's character is far from an exact science, but it's a critical skill in forming meaningful relationships, whether with colleagues, new acquaintances, or potential life partners. We often fall into the trap of judging by appearance, which can be deeply deceptive. A charming, well-dressed individual might harbor a shocking, darker side, as tragically illustrated by extreme examples where outward respectability masked horrifying secrets. To truly assess someone, we must reserve judgment and take our time, observing their reactions in various situations and listening to how they express themselves in all their daily interactions, be it joking, complaining, or praising. This deliberate observation, though not foolproof, significantly increases your chances of avoiding toxic relationships and building connections with people who possess traits like honesty, reliability, competence, kindness, perseverance, modesty, and emotional control. The journey of understanding character is complex, shaped by individual experiences, environments, and relationships. It's an evolutionary process that unfolds throughout life, influencing our values, beliefs, and decisions. Individuals have the capacity for growth and change, even in adulthood, as they engage with new experiences, people, and contexts. This fluid nature means that character is not fixed. It is continually developed through self-reflection and intentional cultivation of virtues. Therefore, when evaluating a woman's character, we are not looking for static perfection, but rather for consistent patterns and a willingness for growth. Here are 5 profound ways to observe and understand the authentic character of a woman. The invisible act. How she treats those who can do nothing for her. One of the most telling indicators of a woman's true character is how she interacts with individuals from whom she stands to gain absolutely nothing. This includes service staff, cleaning personnel, strangers, or those perceived as having less power or status. Her kindness, or lack thereof, in these moments is stripped of incentive, untouched by need, and therefore profoundly honest. A woman with high integrity consistently shows respect to everyone, regardless of their background or position. This isn't mere politeness. It's an acknowledgement of the inherent worth in every individual. She looks back at others, truly recognizing their value. For instance, observe her with a waitress refilling her water. Does she offer genuine warmth and a thank you, or does she remain absorbed in her phone, treating service as an expectation and gratitude as optional? When she crosses paths with a cleaning lady, does she greet her with dignity or pretend she doesn't see her? These small, fleeting moments, often unnoticed by the world, reveal her true spirit. A woman of integrity does not reserve her warmth for the influential or attractive. Her kindness flows freely because it is an intrinsic part of who she is, not a calculated performance for applause. Her soul, laced with empathy and compassion, listens not just to respond, but to understand. She does not interrupt or condescend, allowing others to feel seen. This compassionate understanding is a cornerstone of her integrity, driven by what is both right and kind. It's a stark contrast to women who shine when the cameras are on, offering compliments when strategic, or wrapping kindness in ribbons only for public acclaim. Such behavior is a performance, not character. As Abigail Van Buren wisely noted, the best index to a person's character is how he treats people who can't do him any good, and how he treats people who can't fight back. Think about it. If someone is consistently kind and considerate, donating to charity, doing voluntary work, or showing a simple willingness to share the planet with others, it speaks volumes about their character. Conversely, a guest who never supper shows kindness to the weak and disadvantaged, despite ostensibly being religious, raises serious doubts about the sincerity of their beliefs. This principle applies universally, revealing whether her respect is circumstantial or consistent. It demonstrates whether she values individuals as human beings or merely as stepping stones in her own narrative. The silent witness. Her consistency. When no one is watching, true character is not defined by what someone does in front of you, but by what they do when no one is watching, behind closed doors, or in the quiet corners of their life. This is where integrity, loyalty, and authenticity are truly revealed, unburdened by external expectations or the need for image control. A woman's authentic self emerges not in the spotlight, but in the moments that go undocumented, unpraised, and unfiltered. Watch how she behaves when she believes no one is paying attention. That's when the masks drop and performances end. A woman's discipline, when unmonitored, is a clear indicator of her character. If she uses this freedom to blur boundaries, entertain attention that isn't hers, or engage in conversations she'd hide from you, that's not independence. It's betrayal disguised. The strength of her character lies in these private decisions, the ones unseen, unless the truth slips through the cracks. Does she seek validation in rooms you're not invited to? Does she crave admiration to feel relevant, even if it risks what's sacred between you? That's not loyalty. That's valuing affection from the highest bidder. Real character is often invisible to the untrained eye. It's not in her smiles when things are good, nor in her social media posts about loyalty. It's in whether she closes emotional doors behind your back, how she speaks of you when you're not around to correct the story, and whether she holds your bond as a standard, not a convenience. Freedom doesn't change a woman. It reveals her. It doesn't corrupt what's already whole. It magnifies what was already missing. A woman anchored in values doesn't need supervision to be faithful. She treats loyalty as a code, not a cage. This consistency extends to her words and actions. A woman with high integrity doesn't just talk a good game, she backs it up with her behavior. If she consistently follows through on commitments, whether small or significant, it demonstrates respect for others and a strong sense of personal responsibility. This isn't about perfection. Everyone makes mistakes. But for a woman of high integrity, doing as she says is a rule, not an exception. Similarly, honesty, even when uncomfortable, is paramount. She values truth over convenience or personal gain, admitting mistakes and taking responsibility for consequences rather than blaming others or circumstances. Behind closed doors, her words are raw and unrehearsed. She practices integrity even when it goes unnoticed, ensuring her kindness isn't situational and her values aren't mere decorations. The crucible of character, how she navigates adversity and disappointment life, is a relentless series of challenges. And it is in the crucible of adversity, disappointment, and conflict that a woman's truest character is forged and revealed. Observe her not when she is celebrated, but when she is let down. Not when everything aligns, but when it falls apart. Disappointment strips away performance, pulling back the curtains to reveal what lies beneath. Does she crumble at the first sign of failure, lashing out and blaming everyone around her? Or does she breathe deeply, sit with the ache, and carry herself with quiet dignity? Some individuals fall into bitterness, snapping at innocence, weaponizing their sadness because they don't know how to hold pain without inflicting it. A woman of strength, however, doesn't need to hurt others to validate her own sorrow. She can feel disappointment without turning it into destruction. Watch her when a coveted job slips through her fingers, when someone she loves lets her down, or when her hard work goes unnoticed. Does she seek revenge, or does she release what is out of her hands? Disappointment acts as a mirror, reflecting how much of her joy depends on external control and how much comes from within. A woman of true character doesn't pretend disappointment doesn't hurt. She allows herself to feel it fully. She might cry, retreat into silence, or sit in solitude. But even in her pain, she does not become cruel or abandon her values. There's something powerful about a woman who knows how to carry sorrow without becoming it, to mourn a loss without losing herself. When her heart breaks, she bends, she bows, she weeps, but she also breathes and gathers herself piece by piece, standing again when the time is right. She understands that disappointment is not a punishment, but a passage leading to deeper understanding, patience, and growth. She learns from the pain, not just what it takes from her. Crucially, how does she treat others during her disappointment? Does she push them away, punish them for not fixing her sadness, or communicate honestly and kindly, even when bruised inside? Emotional maturity isn't the absence of hurt, it's the presence of grace in the middle of it. Furthermore, consider her reactions to stressful situations or failures. Does she react calmly under pressure or explosively? Her response to a flat tire, calmly changing it, calling for help, or yelling at the car, tells you about her temperament. In conflicts, does she own up to her part and apologize, or make the other person feel guilty? Taking blame and accountability for mistakes is a sign she is willing to take responsibility and learn from them. Everyone has an occasional angry outburst, but if anger is a daily occurrence, it suggests underlying issues that could escalate to violent or aggressive behavior. A woman with emotional control can navigate conflicts constructively, ensuring all parties feel valued and heard. This ability to remain composed in the face of setbacks, without resorting to blaming others, speaks volumes about her inner strength and integrity. The anchor within, her independence and how she treats you. When you're not needed. Many men make the mistake of assuming that beauty, attention, or intimacy are indicators of loyalty. But these are easy to give when times are good, when needs are being met. The real test of a woman's character lies in how she treats you when she no longer needs you, or when you have nothing external to offer. There's a subtle, yet profound, moment in every connection that reveals everything, when she no longer needs you, not financially, emotionally, or socially. When the initial excitement fades, when the dynamic settles, and when she finds her own rhythm, realizing her life doesn't orbit around you, that's when the true test begins. Some women are kind when they are attached. Their softness is tied to benefits, and their affection is fueled by gain. But the true measure of her character lies in how she handles you when you offer nothing but your presence. When she no longer depends on you for her smile, her stability, or her storyline, her treatment of you becomes deeply honest, stripped of incentive, untouched by need. What if she shifts into distance the moment she stands on her own? If her tone hardens, her patience thins, or her words become dismissive, it wasn't love, it was leverage. Many women hold you gently when they need you, but the moment they no longer do, you become invisible. This stings, not because you've changed, but because your usefulness has expired. The same woman who admired your thoughts now avoids your voice. The one who sought your presence now avoids your energy. This gradual detachment, canceling plans without guilt, ignoring messages, is not an accident. It's a profound reveal. Contrast this with the rare and rooted women who still treat you with care even after they've outgrown the need. They don't change their tone, rewrite the past, or switch from love to indifference just because dependency has dissolved. Their respect is not circumstantial, it's consistent. They may not need you, but they still see you, honor your presence, and carry the shared history without bitterness. For them, you were never just a stepping stone. You were a part of the story, and they don't burn pages just because a chapter ends. You don't need to be useful to be treated with dignity by these women. Their character doesn't inflate and deflate based on what you bring to the table. It is steady, graceful, and unyielding. This principle also extends to how she reacts when you set boundaries or say no. Saying no isn't selfish, it's sovereign. It protects your focus, values, and time. A woman who respects your masculinity won't guilt-trip, manipulate, or emotionally punish you for enforcing a boundary. She'll communicate, question, or even disagree, but she won't seek to dominate. An insecure or entitled woman, however, will treat your no as a betrayal, reacting with passive aggression, withholding affection, or provoking guilt. Her tone changes, her warmth vanishes, and suddenly you're apologizing for having a boundary. This is a game many men don't recognize until it's too late. Constantly saying yes turns you into a performer, and the more you perform, the more entitled she becomes. Her reaction when your no threatens her illusion of dominance reveals her emotional blueprint more than 100 I love yous ever could. She sees you either as a man to walk beside or a man to bend. The reflection in others, her reactions to other women, their success and competition. A truly insightful test of a woman's character comes from observing how she responds to other women, especially when those women are shining, successful, or possess something she might desire for herself. This reveals her inner strength, emotional security, and capacity for genuine support rather than envy. Envy is a natural human emotion, arising in everyone at some point. However, it's what she does with that feeling that tells the truth. Does she let it poison her thoughts and conversations? Does she become distant, dismissive, or cold when another woman enters the room with confidence, beauty, or success? Or does she acknowledge the feeling, process it, and choose to celebrate rather than compete? Watch her when someone else receives praise she craved, a promotion, attention, or the spotlight. Jealousy doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's silent, masked as indifference or coldness, but underneath lies a discomfort she hasn't learned to manage. A woman of true character recognizes this pain but doesn't allow it to guide her actions. There are women who tear others down subtly, with whispers, side comments, backhanded compliments, or exclusion disguised as preference. These behaviors are rooted in fear, the fear that someone else's light might dim her own. But a woman who knows her worth, understands that someone else's shine does not steal her glow. Observe how she speaks about absent women. Does she lift them up or sharpen her words, fueled by insecurity? A woman of grace doesn't compete. She creates space, honoring others' victories because she knows her time will come. In moments of vulnerability, does she listen with compassion or judgment? Does she respond with support or comparison? True strength is not threatened by another woman's beauty, intelligence, or accomplishments. It is inspired by them. A secure woman stands tall without stepping on anyone else's shoulders. This also extends to conflict with other women. Does she belittle and blame, or approach with maturity and a desire to resolve? A woman who cannot handle disagreement without becoming cruel is not yet grounded in herself. Jealousy often manifests in disguise, silence when support was needed, hesitation when encouragement could have been given, or withdrawal when closeness was called for. But a woman who has done her inner work, who has faced her own insecurities, rises above these patterns. She doesn't see other women as threats, but as reflections, sisters, and fellow travelers. She shares her knowledge, offers her applause freely, and is secure enough in her own journey to honor someone else's. When she walks into a room of confident women, she doesn't shrink or compete. She smiles. Understanding her worth is not conditional. The traits of being modest and humble are key. Here, a show-off, who frequently mentions achievements and awards, is unlikely to be modest or humble, indicating an overinflated view of their own successes. Conversely, a truly intelligent person is always interested in new knowledge and listens to differing opinions, rather than showing off what they already know. They don't look down on others and maintain a humble attitude, recognizing that true intelligence lies in applying knowledge and continuous learning, not just accumulating it. A woman with high integrity also demonstrates humility in both success and failure, acknowledging collective efforts and learning from mistakes without wallowing in self-pity or deflecting blame. Discerning true character is an art, not a checklist. It demands patience, keen observation, and the willingness to look beyond the surface. These 5 areas provide a profound roadmap to understanding the real woman beneath the persona, revealing her inherent kindness, unwavering integrity, resilient spirit, authentic independence, and secure self-worth. By focusing on these patterns of behavior rather than just words, you empower yourself to build relationships founded on truth and genuine connection, securing your peace and fostering mutual respect.